Ohio everyone, welcome from the finally rainy Tokyo. The Tsuyu or the rainy season has finally arrived. I kind of hope that it won't arrive here anymore because we had already like 2 weeks where it was raining every day, so like people were confused. People thought that it's maybe like very short this year or that it will come later or not at all. But it's finally here, so I'm a prisoner of the rain and I'm spending like the most days at home. I was thinking today and I was trying to like recall some of my memories from my first year in Japan. I was thinking just a lot about how I came here to Japan. It just appeared to me again that when I came to Japan, I was actually pretty shocked by a few things. So I made a list of like things that were pretty shocking for me just after arriving in Japan. So today I will present you 5 things that, shocked me after starting my life here in Japan. And without talking around the topic anymore, let's get to the first point. And the first point is how Japanese people love their socks, or maybe a bit different because this needs actually a little bit more introduction. So I'm from Poland and Germany, where we have this like stereotype of old people wearing sandals and socks at the same time. Like, come on, like who wears sandals and socks? Only weird people, right? Wrong, Japanese people. To be honest, I'm not talking only about socks and sandals because this is kind of frequent here. I saw a lot of like fathers wearing socks and sandals, even like people my age. At this point, it's totally normal for me. But what's still shocking is that girls wear like high heels and socks. And I'm like super confused by this because sometimes you just see this like lady dressed beautifully in like really sharp and expensive clothes, and you like look, her hair is on point, her dress is like perfect, and you go down, then you see her wearing like Louis Vuitton high heels and like pretty crap socks. And I'm not even talking about like these plain socks that like you would use for high heels. I'm talking about like children's socks with, I don't know, like birds on it, or socks with like ears or whatever. This is not something that happened once, that I saw once. This is pretty frequent, and I'm seeing pretty often actually girls wearing this kind of like mix between a high heel and a sandal, and it's like pretty common that they wear super thick woolly socks together with it, and it just looks so funny because like I said, it's like this perfect like beautiful lady wearing like super nice clothes with socks and sandals, or socks and high heels. It's something that after 3 years of living here, I'm still not over it. Like I can accept a lot of things, but this is still something that will like blow my mind every time I see it. And yes, Karen, this is a super subjective list, and that you were in 2015 in Tokyo and went out in Shibuya or went to Asakusa and you didn't see any of those things, or you didn't notice them, doesn't mean that they not exist. And of course I'm exaggerating, and not everyone in Japan is like this. This is something that I noticed and something that I want to share from my perspective of someone who lives here. Okay, thank you. Second point on my list is how expensive actually life in Tokyo is. And this is something that actually changed with the time, but when I first arrived in Tokyo and I still didn't have a job here and I was living out of my savings, life in Tokyo just was super expensive for me. Like paying for 3 tomatoes, like something around $3 or $4, was just crazy for me. I couldn't understand this, and basically I was eating just like the cheapest food, which is bread with cheese only, because I didn't want to pay for stuff here that was just 3 or 4 times more expensive than it was back at home. Now it changed. Because of course I'm earning money in Japan, and now I see that actually like the prices are balanced with the salaries. It's not that expensive for me as well, but just when I came to Japan, it was a huge shock for me. I was back then converting euro to yen, and for the equivalent of 1000 yen in Germany, I could like cook for a week basically, and in Tokyo it barely is enough to like cook for 1 day. So the prices in Japan were just ridiculous for me, and this was something that shocked me as well. Number 3 might be something very funny for you, but it's not. I will call this point Umbrella Thieves. Even though it sounds like it could be a song or album made by Radiohead, it's a huge problem here. Umbrella Thieves are real. So when I came to Japan and it was raining for the first time, I got one of these clear umbrellas that are kind of symbol of Tokyo for me. Like, I always wanted to be in a crowd and everyone would have like this clear umbrella, and they're actually super common here, and those are like the cheapest umbrellas you can get. They start from like 100 yen, and like a okayish one that won't get destroyed after the first using costs around like 600-700 yen, like $7 at a konbini. When it was raining for the first time, I was super happy. I went to the konbini, I bought myself like the nicest umbrella. I paid more than usual because I wanted a huge one. It was like 70 or 80 centimeters diameter, and I got it. I was super happy. I was walking around with it. Me and my friend, we decided to stop at the next shop, just like 200 meters later. I put it in front of the shop. I went into the shop, I came back out, it wasn't there. What my friend told me back then, and this is something that actually happened a couple of more times, and I can confirm it, is that Japanese people steal umbrellas. And this is kind of funny because we have this like super polite society that follow the rules, that like the criminality in Japan is super low. It's a super nice country to live, it's safe and everything, but if it comes to umbrellas, they're thieves. And this is basically like very simple and stupid to explain, because I mean, it's kind of like all the umbrellas are the same. Like, everyone has the same umbrella, so it's easy to confuse them, right? This is the excuse of like Japanese people. If someone would probably catch them stealing umbrellas, this would be like, oh, I didn't know, I thought it's mine. Because they really look all the same. Japanese people take umbrellas out of the sockets in front of the shops, and I think they target always the best looking one. So when I bought my umbrellas and paid for them like 700 yen, and I didn't even like put down the plastic foil, the plastic wrap, which is around the, how do you call it, the thing you hold the umbrella, and so it's an easy catch, like, right? Why should he take an umbrella which has a hole here and a hole there, and it's just getting rusty and everything, when he can just like take one which is like new? And I mean, like, back then it was super bitter because I thought like, oh, I have my umbrella, I'm happy I have, like, I'm gonna keep it forever. But no, like, the proper way to deal with it is basically buying more expensive umbrellas with like something special on them. Like, nobody will steal your umbrella as long as it's not similar to other ones. Like, let's say my umbrella is like white with colorful points on it. I can leave it everywhere and nobody will take it. So yeah, this is the third thing that was super shocking for me after arriving in Japan. The fourth thing is Japanese school systems, and I could actually talk a lot about this because I have my own opinion on their elementary school and like middle school, high school and everything, but today I want to focus only on their universities. After arriving in Japan, I started my job at a German restaurant pretty soon, where I was working with a lot of students. Some of them actually studied German, so I could like talk with them about their university, and it's nonsense. Japanese university is just a waste of time. First of all, it's super expensive. It costs between 3,000 and 5,000 for one semester, which is like half year here. For you Americans, it might be cheap. For me as European, it's stupidly expensive. Like, in Germany we had university for free. Germany. And the university, it just requires you to go. You don't learn anything there. You can choose basically your kind of things that you want to learn there. At the same time, it's like, it's not something concrete. Like, when you finish a Japanese university, Of course, if it's not like biochemistry or something where you have to learn something specific, but if it's like a normal university, which like most of the people go to, it's you don't learn anything there. You just have to be there. You do this for like 2 years, and then you have 1 year of like job hunting, where most of the people find something very soon and then they're basically free for 1 year. And for me, who had to do a lot for getting my degree, it's just, first of all, I'm jealous because this sounds super fun, like not having to worry too much about the university. But at the same time, I'm just like, what's the point of it? And especially like if you search for a job in Japan, it's kind of necessary that you finish university. You probably won't get an office job without having like a university degree, but it's just super pointless. And I even talked with people, even if you finish something like concrete, as I said, it's still very possible that the company will hire you, but then they will be like, oh, actually, like, I don't know, we don't need an accountant, right? So we're gonna spend money and time for you to learn how to program things, and they kind of send you on like 2 years of IT training. But on the other hand, I talked with a lot of Japanese people about this as well, and it seems that in Japan it's kind of like university is seen as like the only period where you have really like time for yourself and time to do things that you want to do, because after this, office life in Tokyo is pretty strict. Before, like, the whole basic school system is pretty strict as well, so like during university you can do whatever you want. You can dye your hair whichever color you want, you can go around, you can travel, you can try to start something new, like a new hobby or something. Before and after, it's kind of difficult. So university for Japanese people is actually blessing, because as I said, it's kind of like the only big vacation they have in their life. And the fifth and last thing on my list today is how Japanese people can't handle alcohol at all. So before coming to Japan, in Europe, we were kind of joking about Asian people not being able to drink that much, and to be honest, when I came to Japan, it was kind of confirmed, because usually my Japanese or like Asian friends in general get drunk pretty fast compared to European people. Even though this is kind of true, of course not for everyone, but like many people, I would think that they drink maybe like occasionally some wine, a beer here and there, not getting like wasted. Also because I have this like image of like super serious salaryman, which are going to work in the morning, working all day, staying at work after they finish, and then are pretty tired in the afternoon. So I thought there is not even a lot of time for drinking, right? But no, I was wrong. Drinking is huge in Japan. Everyone is drinking, and everyone is drinking a lot. The izakayas are just full. They have here nomi hodai, which is all you can drink, in basically every shop that sells food and alcohol, and people get wasted. They get wasted so much, wasted that much that they like sleep on the street, puke on the street all the time. Like going back at night in Shibuya is just looking under your feet and trying not to step on any vomit that is there, and it's super shocking for me. Just didn't think that Japanese people would love to drink that much, but they do. It gets even like crazier, because when they drink, they often just sleep on the street. They have their phone and their wallet in their hand because they were maybe waiting for a taxi when they fell asleep, and they're staying like this for the whole night. And this is actually amazing, because as I said, I saw so many people just with their phones, their computers out, or whatever, just sleeping there, and nobody takes their stuff. It's like, it's super safe to sleep this way. But still, I saw so many people just like sleeping in their own vomit, which I wouldn't think about before coming to Japan, that it's possible. I mean, there are even like profiles on Instagram, like for example Sleeping Tokyo, that post every day like super drunk people, super drunk Japanese people. This is still kind of like when two worlds crash here, like this super majime, super serious world with this like party people getting drunk culture. And I think my favorite spot to observe something like this is actually Takada no Baba. Takada no Baba is a station not far from Shinjuku. It's known for being a place where students go drinking, and there are like cheap izakayas targeting kind of students. This station is in between like the three biggest universities, which are Sophia, Waseda, and Keio University. Students meet there all the time. Usually when they're done with drinking in izakayas around maybe 8 or 9, they will go to a place called the Rotary. The Rotary is a rotary just next to the station, and this is where like the crazy shit in Japan actually happens. I saw so many things happening there. It's like people, after they finished drinking in izakayas, they go to a Don Quixote, which is just next to it, get a lot of alcohol, a lot of cheap alcohol, and go to the Rotary drinking. Usually starting to be in like small groups, but just after 1 or 2 hours, everyone just mixed together. And people get like wasted is not even enough to explain what's happening there. The ambulance is just coming every 10 minutes to pick someone up. I saw everything you can imagine. I already saw there. I saw people getting naked in the middle of the square just for no reasons, just for being drunk. I saw people there just while talking with someone else, going into a squad and starting to like piss. It's the favorite place for me and my foreigner friends to drink, because obviously we don't really get that drunk. So it's kind of interesting to see what is happening there, like what people can do after drinking that much. And especially it's a place where like the social boundaries of Japanese people just disappear. People start to mingle, people start to like talk to each other, they share alcohol and everything, something that is not really common because just people don't really like socialize outside of their social circle. But Takada no Baba, it's possible. It's like everything can happen there. Even though we drink a lot in Europe, it was shocking for me how much they actually consume alcohol here, especially because they're not strong. That's all. That's my 5 points. Let me know if something was shocking for you or if you knew already about anything. One more time, it's just super subjective. Other people could have like other experiences, but this is something that I noticed. Like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and see you in the next video. じゃあね。